So it's purple's turn. He owns more cities than the red right now. Therefore, he's allowed to build the 15 legions and 15 auxiliary. The red cannot. I'm going to go through some turns without showing you, but just to show you, we're going to come over here, try to get our 5 legions in Asia. Mithridates is going to try to stop him. You got 2 crossing arrows right here. I think they do have a ship, but one ship won't give you enough legions, and it's dangerous, as you know, to travel across water with one ship. While they're doing that, Marius, the younger side, is going to start marching. I'm just going to have him start marching and try to get Massilla. Marius, the younger, is down here. Maybe I'll have him recruit because he's allowed to carry, the ships are allowed to carry a man. And then I will sell him up, Cinna here. And we're going to try to take back cities, obviously, and try to get to Rome. So, let's continue on. I'll come back, see what happens. So, we managed to move Pompey here. I spent a political stratagem to make him the supreme leader. And so the political stratagem gets taken out of the box where you can't use it anymore because it's designated as a supreme leader for him. I didn't move the legate. I just moved the legate because I was going to head him back to Rome so I can get the Rus Republic a good table. He didn't make it because when I had this Roman, the loyal Roman player move, I had him sell to Rome, and he also played a political marker to become the supreme leader for his side, and he also played a political marker and got tribute and turned the civis to a red. So Marius just took Rome. I didn't move this army just because for the fact that I didn't have any more military markers to help me out, because they were only getting 1 a turn for the cities they held. But now that he's going to have a supreme leader and holds Rome, he's going to be able to pick 3 or 4 maybe now. So Mithridates, he had left his big stack here, I forgot, and I put him on Sinope so he could recruit some Pontius units, which he did, and he moved it out to Nicomedia. So that's where he's sitting, and he's going to wait for his army to come here. I tried to move Tigranes up here to watch this side. He rolled a 1. He has no military stratagem to play because they only had 1, and Mithridates played it, so Tigranes couldn't play it, and he rolled a 1, and therefore he was not allowed to move, and he got stuck there. So this is the way the game's going. It's just 1 turn, and I just wanted to fill in just the different things that happen. I might take this force now with 1 ship and sell it over to like one of these ports. I just want to recover some rules here that I may have made after the fact. Just as the game goes, I need to add some rules, and it's all documented on my documents in Google Docs. But no Roman general will be allowed to recruit any units in Rome, lest it's a guard. I've stated that here. However, no Roman general was even allowed to bring his legions into Italy. So no Roman can ever enter Italy with legions unless 2 things are happening. 1, you're in a civil war, or 2, enemy units are in Italy. And when we're talking Italy, we're talking from the mountain range. I went from the Padu Flaminius, which is the river, up there by Milan, all the way down to Sicily. Once there's a civil war or enemy units have invaded Italy, though, you can start bringing Roman legions into Italy, and if you have to enter Rome, you can, until the civil war or the enemy units are eliminated from Italy, or the civil war is over. And then start recruiting right here, because we're not going to allow him to stay there. Now remember, no Roman can recruit any units in Rome unless it's a guard, and that's all he gets. That's all you can recruit there, and once he controls it. So he can start recruiting some guard, and we're limited to a counter mix. And remember, red side is only limited to 10 legions right now. And with Pompey, I'm just going to go finish this war, because once you finish this war, you get the Roman red cities back. So they're all going to turn purple, because purple concludes this peace. So that's what we're striving for. And then I don't care if I lose a couple cities over here. I'll have time to still keep the 15 legions on my side, get back, and try to defeat them. So we're going to continue. So I'm just showing you this game. You know, the more I'm playing, I really do like it. And I have to make a decision here. If I wanted to pick, I was only allowed to pick, I think, you know, it's hard for me to remember everything, but I think I was allowed to pick 2 or 3 stratagems from my available box as Pompey. And I decided I wanted to get most military. You know, you only have a maximum of 3, and I want them all in there, because I think what I'm going to do is force march Pompey, get them over here as quick as I can before I have to fight this force. That's what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to try to sell this one over here, start threatening Marius. And then I'm going to wait. This Massilla is just waiting for this force. So, and I keep recruiting, because I'm only about at 10 legions with the purple, so I can keep recruiting here. This one is about 8 or 9. They can probably recruit 1 more unit and they're done. So he's only going to be able to get like 1 guard unit there or something. Anyways, you know, pretty good strategy stuff going on. With Pompey, I decided to roll on the Res Republica table. I don't like to sometimes, because if I get a 10, you know, my troops mutiny. I have to make a discipline check, and it doesn't work out the greatest. But I figured, yeah, I rolled on it, and I got a 6, and I was allowed to become an Imperator if in the immediately preceding 2 turns I had won a major victory, but I didn't. So I failed on that. But I was here, and I rolled a 6 on the march table, which gave me an extra 2. So the impetus, which moves a 3, you got to move the slowest amount of your slowest unit, became a 5. So I was able to get to here. And now I'm going to expend another military. That was one of my decisions I made, of getting an extra military instead of a political, for this reason. And now I'm going to force march him, and I want to get on that area. So I'm hoping for a real good roll here. And a 3. Let's see what a 3 gets us on the road. It gets us MA and an attrition. That means I'm going to have to eliminate 1 unit after this. Okay, but the 3 gives me a movement +1. And what I'm going to decide to do, now as I moved the first move, I'm allowed to move on that and conduct a tribute, which I did. I had to pay a political marker. You can see how fast these are 4 so far. I played all with the recruiting and movement for purple. You can see how fast they get used up. But since I didn't get that, I'm going to leave the impetus behind. I didn't get it to change sides, and I'm going to leave my recruit legion with him, and I'm going to go ahead and move Pompey and the rest of these legions. Now their movement now is a 5, and I rolled a 6, remember, on the road table, which becomes a 6. So now I can move 6. And I'm going to double check the rules for supply here, making sure my impetus, he's allowed to run supply along a road, but he may have to own that city, which I don't. I'll have to check that out. Yes, just checked it out. He has to own the city. It has to be a city source is the supply to run along it. So if I move, basically Mithridates may be able to get some troops here and it turns into battle. I want to see what the arrow costs me. Just found out that I need an engineer. I have to stop at the strait anyways, and then I need an engineer to cross. So I'm going to try to gain tribute on this next turn. I'm going to go ahead and attack, see if I can win something that way, and then I'm going to recruit the engineer and then move on. So I'm kind of stopped. The Legate heading to Rome isn't really going to matter a whole lot. I'm going to send him back to Athens, and next turn I'm going to try to move a force around. So he's going back to Athens. No biggie for a leader to move. And over here, I'm going to wait. Now, his supply's good, his supply's good, and being inside a city, their supply's good. So all the supply's good. We recover the stratagems. They go back to the available box. Move into the combat phase, and we're going to go ahead and do a formal siege, which I'm allowed to do a formal siege and then assault. So a formal siege on the Civis. Now I went ahead and conducted, used my last military stratagem for the turn, and I rolled a 6. Man, I've been rolling a lot of 6s with the purple here, and it becomes a breach. So we go into the battle, and this was eliminated. So Philippolis is now a purple city, and we're done with the purple's turn. Now, I'm doing a couple things wrong here, but Pompey himself can only expend 2 stratagems because he has a 2 leader rating. And I think I've done 4 with him now. Some of those stratagems were recruited by, let's say, a legate. He recruited somebody. Each leader's allowed to spend a number of what they have. But Pompey I definitely went over. Second, right now when I say that I turn this Thracian city into a Roman city, that's not the way it's done. Just because I've got a civis, or just because I recruited the other civis to a red, the city itself is not going to become a Roman city. All that will allow me to do is I can have a red city there, which means I'm protecting it, but I still can't recruit Romans there until I convert the Thracian city to a Roman city. And the way that's done is the same way you colonize. So I would have to be there, and I would have to expend a legion and an impetus unit, remove them from the board, and then I can turn that into a Roman city. And once it's a Roman city, red, then I can start recruiting Romans there. If I just want to leave the red civis there, then that's fine. It does mean I do control that city as far as victory points go, but I can't recruit no Romans from there, which you may just want to do that. But once that city gets taken back, since I didn't start, it doesn't start as a red city, then it will revert back to a Thracian city. So then you would have to colonize it again. Anyways, those are the rules. I didn't make those up. I mean, you know, I've had to do a lot of special rules for this game, but those are the rules that are really that come with the game. A lot of these rules are. I just say them over and over so that you can understand and I can remember how to play this game when I look at the videos. We moved. So I had a choice here with Mithridates. Now, he's only allowed to pick one stratagem, and I went in and took a military because I may be fighting and I want to move units along a road. Now, I moved this last turn without a leader. Therefore, you can't expend a military stratagem, and he had to lose a unit. Since Nicomedia is an Asian city, I can recruit an Asian unit, which is here, which I think I'm going to go with. I do like the cavalry. Yeah, let me take a cavalry. We're going to go ahead and recruit a cavalry. But with this unit, I was going to, if I use Mithridates to go here, then I got to wait till next turn to move them. The Romans are going to get maybe a cross, which is going to defeat my purpose. So I need this unit moving up right now, and I can't expend a military stratagem because I don't have a leader there. And therefore, the roll was a 3. So on the march table, he's moving on a road. It becomes a 3. And he got M1 and another artrician. So he has to lose another unit when he moves. So he got a 3 plus 1. And his slowest unit is 4, 4, 4. It looks like they're all 4s, so he can actually go 5. And he can get to there. And now I gotta destroy a unit. So I took off one of the small bands of heavy infantry because I really like the cavalry. I left the strong bands there. I do have plenty of legions. And now I want to take Mithridates and his force and move it to that hex so I can use a military stratagem next turn and get him over there. How many stratagems does he have? Because remember, he only gets one a turn. It would cost me military. I'm going to try to move it without it. I want to save the 2. Well, I do have a political, and I'll be able to pick it. Yeah, let's spend the 1 military. 4. And he's good. Okay. So he made that. So we're ready to confront Pompey. Let's try Tigranius. Now with him, I can't use a military stratagem. On a 1, he doesn't move again. Wow. Okay, they're done. Over here. Now because we have the Supreme Leader and he's rated a 1, he gets 1 stratagem. Because he's in Rome, he owns Rome, he gets another 1. And because the leader is in Rome, yes, that's correct. So he's getting 1 for his leader rating, he's getting 1 for controlling Rome, and he's getting 1 for having the Supreme Leader in Rome. So that's 3, and then he still gets them for every 5 of a major city. So he's going to collect 4, and he has a total of 5 in his box, and he's going to take everything but 1 military. And we're going to go ahead and recruit a Praetorian on Rome. So he does have 1 Praetorian Guard now. And that costed a political point. We're going to go ahead and move this side with a military stratagem. Let's march along the road. See what he gets. Jeez. Now, because he spent the military stratagem, he gets a regular movement. And we're going to take his supply with him, so he's going to move 3. 1, 2, 3. So he's there, trying to cross the pennies. I'm going to bring these ships up eventually over here to fight against Massilla, because they can be used in coastal battles. So, now I've been recruiting right here, so he's actually getting bigger. We'll go for it. And that's the end of another turn. So, we'll see what happens right here. Now, is he going to march there and not expend a military and try to use 2 for tactical superiority? I think I'm going to do that. Let's just try the march. And he might have got it. On a road at a 6. Yep. So, the whole stack's right there. And then we're going to try Tigranius again. And he gets a 2 this time. 1 better. And he gets a regular march. So his slowest unit is a 4, it looks like. We can start taking these. These are just markers I use, you know, to help me with civis, because you don't have enough tan civis units. So he's allowed to move 4. And we're going to try to head over to there. Okay, supply. Now both of these units don't have supply. This is Tigranius first. And he gets a 3 on the supply table. In the open, no, he's on the mountains. Is there a road? No, it has nothing to do with the road. So mountains, he rolled a 3. He is safe. Let's roll Mithridates in the open. Mithridates gets a 5, and that failed. If units in a hex total 5 or fewer, you're safe. Otherwise, you have to do owner eliminates half of all strength points. Wow, what a very unfortunate thing to happen to Mithridates at this time. Okay, so you have to eliminate half. So there's 35. He saved 32. So these have all died. Wow, what a great time for Pompey to have forces get reduced here. He was allowed, Pompey's turn, he's allowed to pick 3 stratagems. We picked 2 military and a political. You need to have a political and an agent in our special rules to get rid of Mithridates in that war. So I can't recruit, I'm not going to move, nobody's doing anything. Just FYI, Marius the Younger tried to go take get tribute from another city here so he can start recruiting troops, because remember, he can't recruit on Rome, and he failed. Anyways, so that's all we're going to do. We are now going to cross the Bosphorus, and we are taking the entire force.
Now, we don't need to show you this battle, and I'm just going to rush through some things here and speed it up. But on the combat results table, this has happened like 3 times. I have a force here that has like 10 legions. The other force has 3 legions and a couple auxiliary, missile fire people. The smaller force puts a discipline check on the large force, and the large force has to roll. If they get a 1, if the die rolls a 1, that means all veterans on down fail. Now in the missile phase, anytime you fail, you become disrupted, period. And so now the entire 10 Legion force is disrupted through some missile fire. That, to me, I don't like it. I don't think it's very realistic. You'd have to give me an example of where an army with all arrows in the ancient world forced another army 4 times its size to run. Now, in the assault phase, I can see that. Right? There was many battles where armies were outnumbered 4 to 1, 5 to 1, and they ended up winning. So in the assault phase, if the 3 legions force 10 legions to take a discipline check, and they roll a 1, I change the F to a G. And now it's a go berserk. And now, because it's the assault phase, you will be disrupted. But what the G does is, in the missile phase, there's going to be no effect for the veterans. Okay, so basically that's all I'm doing here on this table. Under the veteran column, die roll of a 1, it's no longer an F, it's a G. I think that's more realistic to the game. So this battle fought, and part of the Mithridates invasion and fighting is part of my event that I put in my Pax Romana. So the special rules are, because of, Mithridates had a lot of problems going on, so did Sulla. It was really Sulla there originally. They made a quick peace agreement and everything went back to status quo. So in this game, all the Romans have to do is march into Anatolia, which they did. They defeated the Mithridates army. Mithridates happened to die. Because he died, the war stops right now and then. But even if he didn't die, the Roman legions would be on Asia with more than 5 legions, or at least they need 5. They would wait till next turn during the strategy expenditure phase, and you would have to expend a political and an agent stratagem, and the war would be concluded for 2 years. Mithridates would not fight, because remember, there was 3 wars. He kept coming back, and I explained that all in the docs. But as of for now, everything goes back to the way it was in 88 BC before Mithridates started the war. Tigranes, he's all part of that pack. So when the war ends, he goes back to his starting point. Mithridates has died. Tigranes, the war ends, he goes back to his starting point. Now, Tigranes will be allowed to come and start the second war, just as if he did with Mithridates. But right now, that's 2 years later. So Purple did succeed in getting the Mithridates, the Pontius, the Armenians out of the war in Asia, and now he can turn around and go deal with Marius the Younger.
We reverted this back to the very beginning. All these red Roman cities turned purple now, whoever made the peace with Mithridates, which happened to be Purple Pompey. So he just gained a whole buttload of cities, and now we're going to head back and deal with... So we missed the colony roll. You have to get a 1, 2, or 3, and I rolled a 4. So next turn I'm probably going to have to go there for the winter. So here it is, September. And I think you've seen enough, but it's pretty cool. I think how it's very intricate. It's a very different cry than trying to play Even marching Napoleon's armies there in that game, it moves pretty quick. They move pretty fast in a month. The legions here are a lot slower, and you have to be careful. And the way they work these stratagem in, it's really pretty good. So we can't recruit here. We can't recruit on Rome. So it looks like Pompey may be getting the upper hand. I'm not going to show any more. I'm just going to roll along in this. Now you can see here, as I get to 78, I skip to 74, but I don't skip if there's still the Civil War going on, and I put that in the rules. And we are in the Second Civil War, so basically it's going down. We're in 75 BC, so I just put this marker right there. We're starting April. When we hit 74, then we start counting again. Other things are just going to happen, but what we're getting to is, there's been a lot of recruiting. And I split up the red into 3 forces. Sertorius is here with a good force. Cinna's over here, and a Legate. A Legate's there. Marius the Younger is here with 4 of his fleets. Ready to take off. He can go back to Rome or anywhere. So back here, I left a Legate Veteran 2 leader ready with 3 of my fleets. Remember, purple only has 3 fleets. Red has 4. So. And he has some veteran legions. Now, I did build a Praetorian Guard in Rome, and then rolling on the Res Publica table for the Optimus, when Pompey was there, I was allowed to build a veteran legion. That's the only reason why there's a legion there. Remember, during a civil war, you are allowed to move Roman legion in there. You just can never recruit legions there. So that's why the legions are there with fleets. They're watching Marius if he tries to go back to Rome or anywhere else.
So in our Pax Romana scenario, there's 3 ways to lose your civil war. 1, your named leaders get eliminated. 2, you control 8 cities or less. Or 3, your supreme leader loses 2 straight battles, a major and a minor. And then depending on what Civil War it is, I might throw in an extra. Like, for example, this is the Second Civil War. In the Second Civil War, you don't need to destroy all the named leaders. All you have to do is lose your supreme leader, and you will lose.
Okay, so the Second Civil War came to an end, and the red was getting close to that. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There was only 3 more to take. And then Marius the Younger starts selling around, trying to get everywhere, and that's when the Legate 2 leader rating came out and went after him. We actually trapped him in Massilia and went for a battle. It was a draw. Pompey actually fought the forces in Spain. It was a draw. But we kept going back and forth until Marius was finally killed. Therefore, Civil War ended. And once the Civil War ends, the Roman world stops fighting. Everything stays where it is. So these will still stay red. The purple stays purple. But now you can mix the forces. In other words, they're all one now. They're all together. The Roman world is united. And that took, on the record track, when you get to 78 BC, if the wars have been done, you can skip to 74. Well, I never skipped. I had to play 77, I had to play 76, 75, and then when I got to 74, that's when this ended. So it did take a while. And then we now added 2 more consuls and Cato, and we removed Metellus. So this is the way the board looks. And then when we start again, we actually start 3 events in 73 BC.